Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order the hybrid virtual Pasco County Board of County Commission meeting for October 20th, 2020. I'd like to remind each and every one of you to please silence your electronic devices and mute your microphones when not speaking. If we could please rise for the invocation and pledge, Madam Clerk.
O merciful Creator, your hand is open wide to satisfy the needs of every living creature. Make us thankful for your loving providence and grant that we, remembering the account that we must one day give, may be faithful stewards of your good gifts. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
District 1, Commissioner Oakley.
Here.
District 3, Commissioner Starkey. Here. District 4, Commissioner Wells.
Here.
District 5, Commissioner Mariano.
Here.
District 2, Chairman Moore.
Here, thank you. Mr. Steinsteiner, please go over today's proceedings with the BCC.
Be happy to, Mr. Chairman. On March 20th, Governor DeSantis issued Executive Order 2069, which has recently been extended by Executive Order 2246, which suspended any Florida statute that requires a quorum to be present in person or requires a local government entity to meet in a specific public place until November 1st, 2020. However, the board has chosen to hold this board meeting with a quorum physically present, utilizing communications media technology for the public and team members to participate. A detailed advertisement was run in the Tampa Bay Times indicating the board's intent to conduct a hybrid virtual meeting. On September 25th, 2020, the governor issued Executive Order 2244, moving the state into Phase 3 of the governor's Safe, Smart, Step-by-Step order. Large gatherings of over 50 people is still not recommended to congregate in any public space that does not readily allow for appropriate social distancing. The state's Surgeon General Public Health Advisory is still in place with regard to maintaining social distancing and avoiding gatherings of 10 or more people. The public has been afforded an opportunity to make public comments either in writing or by use of communications technology that has been provided. The board adopted Resolution 2182 on June 30th, 2020, establishing the procedural rules for a hybrid virtual meeting such as the one being held today. As with any meeting that which you take action, that you are required to take public comment on any proposition pursuant to Section 286.0114 Florida statutes. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Steinsteiner. Now we'll move on to public comment. Citizens are given an opportunity to comment on any items coming before the board during this public comment section. The board also takes public comment on items to be placed on the future board agenda or other business under their purview. Due to COVID-19 operations to safeguard the well-being and safety of our citizens and staff, today's public comment will be handled as follows. First, we will take public comment from those that have pre-registered for a WebEx link and are currently on queue. After, we will read into the record public comments, documents, PowerPoints, or videos that have been identified by members of the public to be read out loud, played at the meeting, or received and filed. And finally, we'll take public comment from those currently signed up at the kiosk station. Comments are not to exceed 3 minutes per person. This new format does not waive the request that when you address the board, comments are not directed personally against any commissioner or team member, but rather directed at the issues. This provides a mutual respect between the board members and the public. If you do so, I will cut you off. For WebEx and kiosk participants, after stating your name and address, the clerk and the timer will be activated and will start a countdown. After 2 minutes, one beep will sound, letting you know that only 1 minute remains. After the time is up, 2 beeps will sound, indicating that 3 minutes are up, and you should close your comments. WebEx participants will be disconnected when their time is up, and kiosk participants will be asked to move away from the kiosk when their time is up. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone pre-registered to speak on WebEx at this time?
Yes, Chairman, we have 9 pre-registered, but 5 have logged into the queue.
Okay, so when we call your name and address for the record, and your 3 minutes will begin. Who will we have first?
Our first WebEx participant is Victor Geiger.
Mr. Geiger, name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Victor Geiger, and I live at 5017 Dory Drive, Gulf Harbors. I'd like to speak on item number 100 today. I am currently the Director of Public Relations, a voluntary board member of the Gulf Harbors Civic Association. As a resident of Gulf Harbors for almost 30 years, I remember when Gulf Harbors had a viable golf course that community members could walk around, play, take pets, and enjoy the outdoors without walking on busy streets. Since our community is over 70 years old, we do not have the benefit of the new Pasco County Land Development Code, which requires a developer to set aside a portion of the building project for a park within walking distance for residents of new communities to use. Clearly, the drafters of the code understood the need for residents to leave their homes and get outdoors and relax, work out, or just congregate in the outdoors. When the Gulf Harbors golf course closed, the community lost this capability. We have been forced to walk, run, or bicycle on the 2 busy main roads in the community. It was park and share it with cars, trucks, and buses. The need for a park has never been as clearly demonstrated as it is today, with the need to social distance, but also get outdoors and relax. With the demise of the old golf course in this special relationship through an MSBU with Pasco County, we could have what all the newer communities have. Our board of directors, in concert with the Pasco County staff and you commissioners, has worked for this park for over 5 years. Because of the fact that Gulf Harbors is a non-mandatory civic association and not an HOA, the liabilities incurred with not having a permanent funding source, the Gulf Harbors Civic Association could not purchase the property outright and maintain it in perpetuity. The solution of the county purchasing the property and through an MSBU, the homeowners purchasing a portion, is the best of all worlds. It is difficult for me to fathom how a single homeowner has been able to hold 3,000 Gulf Harbors residents hostage by tying the process up in court and denying the community the right to have what every other new development in Pasco County has. Purchasing the property today from a third party and getting the process again moving toward having our own park in the middle of our beautiful community is absolutely imperative. Listeners, please vote yes on the purchase and sales agreement so that we can move forward to create an MSBU and develop a first-class park for our community.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, who do we have next?
Next on the WebEx is Arthur, and I believe the last name is Hideki.
Hideki. Mr. Hideki, name and address for the record, please.
That's Arthur Hideki. And can you hear me?
We can hear you fine. Name and address for the record, sir.
Yes, my name is Arthur Hideki. I live at 3205 Seaway Drive in Gulf Harbors. And I'm speaking this morning regarding item 100. I'm speaking as a 13-year resident of Gulf Harbors and as president of the Gulf Harbors Civic Association. For 5 years, the Gulf Harbors Civic Association has worked to get where we are today with this Board of County Commissioners meeting. And we are truly thankful for this opportunity. A large percentage of our residents have long recognized the value of the 50-acre parcel located directly in the center of our neighborhood, not as an area to build more homes, but as an open space to be enjoyed by our residents. We feel a park is the highest and best use for this property, and it will provide an alternative to walking or biking in the street. It will provide a place where residents can picnic and play with their families. It will provide a place to teach children about nature and migrating birds, and it will give dog owners a secure place to exercise their pets. Now, we recognize that there is a small group, and I have to emphasize the word small, that objects to a park. Frankly, I can't see how anyone could object to having a park right in their own neighborhood. But it's also interesting to note that these naysayers only complain and never offer a constructive alternative. These are the same people who complained about the Ridge Road extension and other important projects to improve our county. As the representative body for the 1,800 plus homes in Gulf Harbors, the Civic Association strongly recommends that you pass the resolution to purchase the defunct Gulf Harbors Golf Course property and use it to create a park that can be enjoyed by generations to come. Present and future residents will be thankful you had the foresight to make this decision. We want to thank you, and please vote yes for item number 100 on your agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
Next signed up on WebEx is Deb Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, name and address for the record, please, and you may begin.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Deb Johnson, a concerned resident at 5116 Galleon Court in Gulf Harbors, here about agenda item AC 100. Thank you, County Commissioners, for your public service and for this opportunity to speak about an eyesore in the middle of one of Pasco County's gems, an unhomely golf course in the middle of our piece of paradise, Gulf Harbors, of which each of you have the opportunity to change by a yes vote today. As your yes vote would lead to a park which is long overdue in our subdivision of over 1,800 homes. I encourage you to vote yes for 3 reasons. First, a park promotes community wellness. Studies have linked the presence of an attractive park to increases in aerobic exercise. Having a green space nearby results in a 25.6% increase in people getting active at least 3 times a week. It would be a tremendous amenity for our community to get exercise and walk our pets. With the traffic on Florimar and Topsail, it would be much safer to walk in a park. The wellness benefits of parks go beyond physical health, as they also have an impact on better mental health. God knows our country needs better mental health. Secondly, a park in our subdivision adds incredible value to our properties and therefore the county. Homeowners view parks as a desirable amenity. Property values increase the closer homes are to a recreational area. A study showed homes within a half mile from an open space or park had values 8 to 20% higher than those not near green spaces. Higher property values lead to more property taxes, so it's a win-win for Pasco County all the way around. Thirdly, buying this property for a park would be conserving a wildlife area. The golf course currently serves as a stopping place for migrating birds and safe spaces for wildlife, so it would ensure that this continues. So in conclusion, voting yes on this purchase, which will lead to a park, will promote wellness, increase property values, which increases tax revenue, and ensures the conservation of wildlife. Thank you for voting yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Clerk, who's next?
Next on WebEx is Roger Parker.
Mr. Parker?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Roger Parker. I'm at 5031 Porpoise Place, Newport Richey, a resident of Gulf Harbors. I'm also the chairman of the board for the Gulf Harbors Civic Association, which has over 1,800 in the community. A previous MSBU vote indicated that a majority of the community wanted this park and in fact voted to accept and desire to pay for it through an MSBU. Unfortunately, a small group of folks in the community postponed your vote for many years. I will close by saying, please vote yes on item 100 so the community can have and use a 50-acre park. Thank you again, and please vote for item 100.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk?
Last signed up via WebEx is Mike Sutton.
Mr. Sutton, good morning. Name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Awesome. Mike Sutton, President and CEO, Habitat for Humanity of Pinellas and West Pasco Counties, 4131 Madison Street, Newport Richey. I'm calling in support of consent agenda C59, which is in support of our neighboring Habitat affiliate, East and Central Pasco Habitat for Humanity, where they are asking for the commission's support in reducing a loan. We're grateful for the commission's support of both affiliates in our county, as well as other nonprofit developers and the leadership that's continued to be provided by the county. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we just want to double check and make sure nobody else that was signed up came online. Seeing none? Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any emails to read into the record before I go to the podium in the hallway?
Yes. Yes, we had 13 submitted, only 3 requested to be read on the record.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. First email is from Ken Dabbs, 4617 Florimar Terrace, Newport Richey, Florida, 34652, President, Gulf Harbors United, regarding A-C100, Gulf Harbors Golf Course Purchase. The Todd Marr appraisal this board commissioned shows a hypothetical value of $600,000 based upon the potential ability to build 80 homes. The real appraisal, also commissioned by this board before the pie in the sky nonsense, was $275,000. The contamination was remediated to a level of 5.5 mgs per kgs. Per the FDEP, a level of 2.1 mg per kg is required to make the property buildable. Therefore, the hypothetical value done prior to the contamination discovery is now invalid. This appraisal is also 4 years old. Before this purchase comes before this board, a new appraisal based upon the current property condition. Let me say it again, the current condition is in order. If this property is so easily developed, why have the lien holders asked for and been granted continuance after continuance on their foreclosure? The foreclosure lawsuit is now approximately 4 years old. The primary lien holder is a developer. On May 21st, 2019, I stood in front of this board and stated, there's nothing about this deal that's been above board or truthful. I stand by the statement today. This board has a fiduciary responsibility to spend citizens' money prudently. Please delay this item and get your ducks in a row. You were elected to represent the citizens of Pasco County, not your friends at the expense of the Pasco County citizens. Second email is from James Tite at 4055 Head Sail Drive, Gulf Harbors. As a resident of Gulf Harbors, I oppose the purchase of this defunct golf course for the price of $1.2 million, 4 times the appraised value of $275,000. The county should not rely on the sole input of the Gulf Harbors Civic Association. They are a civic association, not an HOA. They do not represent all of Gulf Harbors, just a select few. Not a single person has purchased a home here to be by a park. After 4 years, there is still no plan for a park, trail, or dog walk. No budget for what this will cost, just expecting us to hand over a blank check. Why can't this be addressed? Now there is a dredging study that calls for dumping spoils on that property. Not our spoils, but spoils from neighboring developments. But of course, we are expected to pay $1.5 million. You are doing a poor job representing us if this is all true. Your vote on these matters will strongly affect the way I vote November 3rd. P.S. Governor Ron DeSantis has given permission and encourages open public meetings. I feel you are taking full advantage of a pandemic, much as Democrats would.
We're kind of at a level that we're not going to get into political.
Next email. let's see, from Susan Victoria Tite, 4055 Head Sale Drive, Newport Richey, Florida, 34652. Meeting item number A-C 100. I'm a resident of Gulf Harbors who, as many here, did not get a vote on the county or our community buying the golf course and forcing us to pay for it forever. The people who voted were shown a fake picture of a beautiful park. We and you know that will never be because of the contamination and the dumping of dredging by you, the commissioners of Pasco County. The deal was made between the county and the GHCA, who do not have the right to speak for the community. The GHCA and Art Hideki, are a civic center, not an HOA. It is a bad deal that will cost us forever. The only acceptable appraisal done on the property was $275,000. Why are you forcing us to pay $1.2 million? We know why, so do you. The commissioners are not looking out for the constituents' best interests, especially Mr. Mariano and Ms. Starkey.
No, we're talking, we don't mention people's names.
Okay. Do you want me to proceed, or?
As long as that there's no more making negative comments about a staff member or a commissioner that sits on this board.
Okay.
If it continues on, then we'll just cut them off, or cut that email off. Maybe breeze through it for a second. If there's anything of substance, you can read it.
Please do not sign the contract.
That's fine.
It is not what we want. We want a new vote and to be told the truth about all your intentions.
That's fine.
Okay.
As a reminder, if there's anybody that's going to speak outside, again, as I stated in the beginning, negative comments about a board member or a staff member won't be tolerated, and it will be cut off.
Commissioner, I have a question to ask.
Madam, yes.
So I am aware
Commissioner
of
Starkey.
many more emails that came in, but I don't think they knew they had to specifically say, please read this at the board meeting. They put their name and address on it for the record, but I didn't, I don't, so question, those other emails cannot be read
No, they're for the, they're actually,
that came to the PC admin?
if they're not, I'll let Mr. Steinsteiner make the statement, but unless they've stated, and there was 3 different things you could do. You could speak on WebEx, you could ask for an email to be read into the record, or you could just have one filed for the record.
Filed for the record.
record.
That the commissioners got copies of so that they could read it before
Okay,
the
so
board meeting.
I have
do-
not received, I have not received copies of those emails.
They should have been out this morning. I did see an email that showed them this morning. if
Were
I'm not
emailed
correct.
out this morning.
They were? Okay, I'm going through mine and I don't see it, so I'll go back again.
I just want to state that the publication, I have it in my hand, provides the information that if you want it to be read out loud, you must state so.
Okay.
All right, is there any more, Madam Clerk, to be read into the record?
No, those are the last
Okay,
3.
thank you. All right, moving on. We do have, give me 1 second here. So we're going to go to the kiosk. Do we have anybody at the kiosk this morning?
Where are they? Did you see your office somewhere?
Okay. Anybody at the kiosk?
Right.
Oh, there we go.
Hi. Before I start, I have everything that I'm saying in my papers. With little time, I couldn't say a lot, so
Okay.
I have all this right here. You guys would accept and read it?
You can, there's somebody from the clerk's office right behind you, if I'm not correct, and you can hand it to her, and then you can, she will deliver it to us. Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. Yes, ma'am.
Name and address?
I got it. So name and address for the record, please, and you can begin.
Tammy Deloy, 6027 Illinois Avenue, Newport Richey.
Okay.
My issue, and I have to read it fast.
That's
My
fine.
issue is with this abusive mask mandate on our children in school. COVID does not affect children. We all know that almost all deaths are those with elderly of 2 or more comorbidities. The flu is more dangerous and kills more children and adults than coronavirus. Asymptomatics do not spread the virus. The WHO stated this months ago. Putting on a mask for a virus is compared to putting up a chain link fence to keep mosquitoes out. To deprive a child's brain from oxygen is or to restrict it in any way is not only dangerous to their health, it's absolutely criminal. Oxygen deficiency inhibits the development of the brain, and that damage that has taken place as a result cannot be reversed. The child needs the brain to learn, the brain needs oxygen. Not need clinical studies for that, it's common sense. The cause of all disease starts in the cells because of lack of oxygen. You may believe you are getting your information from experts, but I can assure you they are anything but. I myself, being a certified holistic health coach, learning from the top naturopathic doctors in the world, these people know nothing when it comes to our health. The health department goes off the CDC, which goes off of what Fauci says, who has vested interest in keeping us masked and locked down until the Gates vaccine comes out. Parents are experts on their own children's health, period, end of story. It is not only unhealthy for these kids physically, but mentally. There's an article also to read more. Masks can also cause fungal infections, rashes on the face, headaches, dental issues. My daughter is already beginning to sores in the mouth due to the mask. As of today, I have made a hard decision to not send her back to school because it's causing severe damage to her health. Online distancing learning is a failure and does not work. Our children's lives and well-being is being placed in your hands instead of us parents. This is just wrong. This is supposed to be America, not Nazi Germany. Each of us parents should have a choice whether to send our kids to school unmasked or not, and not be singled out wholly because of this choice. No one cares about the health and wellness of our children more than we do. Government has no right and no place making health decisions for myself, my child, or anyone else. It's against our constitutional rights. You mandate masks with no scientific evidence that masks work. You shame the public into wearing them on the basis we might kill Granny. You place the responsibility of other people's health on us. We are not responsible for other people's health. And you putting me in that responsibility is going to make me start slapping pop and junk food out of people's hands. You have
Okay, thank you. Okay, Tracy. So, ma'am, we can't hear you anymore, just so you know, because the 3 minutes are up. Tracy, if you can hear me, unfortunately, there's a lot of chatter in the hallway. I don't know if it's people lined up for early voting or what it is. Maybe that's it. But if there's any way that people around the kiosk can keep their comments low so we can hear the person speaking to us better, that'd be great. It's just really loud. I know it might be difficult if there's people in line to vote, but if there's anybody right around the kiosk, that way we can just, again, hear the speakers better.
hear me.
Sir, there is a lot of noise coming from the supervisor election area. It just sort of wafts this way. The people around the kiosk really are being pretty quiet.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's projecting then. That's okay. I think Kathy's going to maybe go down the hallway and just ask for them to keep it down a little bit. That way we can hear the speakers better.
Okay, thank you. And do you want the next public comment person?
Let's just wait like 20 seconds and let Kathy talk to the people in the hallway for a second.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I will. And while we're waiting, if I could get a motion to receive and file the purple folder that was submitted by the last speaker. I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that seems better, Tracy. Let's go ahead.
Kathy, you did a good job.
Great. Thank you so much.
Just remember, you have to say your name and address.
Good morning.
Okay, just go, I'll tell you.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Savannah.
Speak up.
What's my address?
Savannah Hannon.
Savannah Ham,
60.
6027. I am
Illinois.
Illinois Avenue. I don't want to wear masks because my mom's not letting me go to school, and it's hard to breathe, and it's making me hurt less and spaced out, and my mom's not letting me go to school for this reason because it's destroying my health, and I'm not getting enough oxygen, so my mom is making me do online, which is really bad which is not that bad, but it is kind of bad for my learning because I have really struggled in school.
Say if you want to mandate.
If you want to mandate masks,
If you want to mandate.
if you want to mandate something,
Mandate.
you should mandate
Vitamin C,
vitamin
D,
C and D.
And
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day.
Mr. Chairman, it probably should be part of the record that this board doesn't have control over what the school board does.
Okay.
That would be a school board issue.
Yes, okay. So the county attorney just wanted to remind that anything that happens with the school board when it comes to masks is their decision only. Okay, do we have anybody else sign up, or is that it for the day? Anybody else? Okay, I think, well, we do have somebody else. All right, hi. And I'm sorry, give me 1 second. We're not hearing you. If we can, give me 1 second, I apologize. Okay, now we can. Name and address for record. Good morning.
I just wanted to say that I also gave something to Tracy that she could bring in to you, if that's okay.
We'll do a motion to receive and file after we get it. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
My name is Cindy Bontrager. My address is 21317 Bowman Road, Spring Hill, Florida, 34610.
Thank you.
So I have 20 sarcastic mask myths for you. Number 1, even though I feel good, I could be sick without knowing it. 2, a positive PCR test can't tell me if I'm contagious or not because it picks up any previous virus I survived. 3, if I cough or sneeze, my droplets could land in the mouths or nose of people who are nearby. 4, masks are a barrier no COVID 100 nanometer particle can get through. 5, COVID stays glued to my mask until I wash it. I'm never going to accidentally touch it and then rub my eye. And if I do take my mask off, I will always put it in a sterile container and promptly replace it with a new one every time it gets damp or soiled. Any 3-year-old can do that. 6, breathing COVID or any other virus stuck to my mask all day won't harm me. 7, wearing a mask doesn't protect me, it protects everyone else from COVID's 0.14% infection fatality rate. Protecting everyone is easier than just protecting the vulnerable like we have always done in the past. 8, wearing a mask for several hours a day doesn't affect my ability to breathe oxygen properly, because any mouth issues that could lead to severe disease or any facial skin lesions. 9, there's no psychological effect for me or others from wearing a mask for months. 10, there's no political motivation for ordering people to wear a mask. If Kamala Harris and Joe Biden said this virus is not going to go away anytime soon, or President Trump trying to kill us by saying it will go away. 11, there's no agenda to condition people with wearing a mask to allow them to shop, fly, go to work or school with a bait and switch vaccine to continue being allowed to do those things. 12, there's no push from global technocrats at the World Economic Forum to use COVID for the Great Reset and fundamentally transform everything like their website says. 13, even though in March we thought COVID was 24 times deadlier than it is, we still need to stop the spread in October. 14, if people weren't ordered to wear a mask, the virus would spread and everyone would die. The 5 blue states that put elderly people in nursing homes proves that. 15, over 200,000 people have died from COVID this year, according to the new special way the CDC is recording death certificates. If they used the old process they had in place for the past 17 years, it would only be 94% lower. 16, everything about COVID is also true about the flu, including how dangerous it is. Think of how many lives could have been saved if we had political leaders with Munchausen's by proxy syndrome sooner. 17, hydrochloroquine isn't effective, even though Dr. Fauci said it was in 2005 for SARS-CoV-1. In fact, if symptoms are mild, it's better to take nothing. Then if your symptoms get worse, go to the hospital where they're financially incentivized to treat you. If you're lucky, they'll put you on one of the many ventilators President Trump built. 18, life is more difficult for people that can't wear masks. They can just...
Thank you, ma'am. So this speaker had something she wanted to submit, so I need a motion to receive and file for that.
Move to receive and file?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Now, the speaker before her that wanted to submit the purple folder actually wants it back, so I have to have a motion to return that.
Move to return the pink folder.
I have a motion and a second to return the folder that was initially wanting to be submitted. Motion passes. Thank you. Do we have anybody else that signed up to speak today?
Yes, we have 3 more people.
Okay, please go ahead. And name and address for the record, please.
Well, before I start, there was a packet that was given to you all from a resident that is directly affected by the golf course, Kelly McKenna. I'd like to have that entered for you guys approved.
Do we have it?
Yes, we do.
All right,
Move to
motion-
receive and
I have a
file.
motion.
Second.
I have a second, a motion to receive and file. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Thank you. Name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Diane Covenant, 5001 South Shore Golf Harbors. I swear what I'm about to say is true and accurate. Before you vote in favor of the new purchase agreement for the golf course, please consider the following facts. There is no recent appraisal. The last unbiased appraisal was in 2015. The appraisal was done by Todd Marr and valued the property at $275,000 as is, and assumed the property was not impacted by any environmental issues. Mr. Marr appraised the property again in 2016, but this time he was given a directive from county, quote, "At the request of my client, I have valued the property as though the zoning, landing, and land use would allow 80 residential units, which is a hypothetical condition." Mr. Marr felt so strongly the reader be aware of this directive that he wrote it in bold 6 times within the document. In the interest of full transparency, it should be noted that the owner's appraiser, Tropical Realty, appraised the property of $1.7 million. You're spending $1.2 million of taxpayers' money for a non-essential person in the year of COVID. In addition, county is forgiving a total of $68,000 in liens. And no further action from the FDEP was requested for a passive park. This contract indicates an active park. Although some remediation was done, the property remains contaminated to the arsenic level of 5.5. Are you aware if any further remediation will be needed to create an active park? You intend to create an MSBU for property owners to pay for this. MSBUs are non-ad valorem taxes, are unfair and unjust, since they do not take into consideration the value of a home. So $100,000 home pays the same as a $1 million home. The attached agenda stated the case was removed. Okay. Let me clarify. That means that it was just on hold, not dismissed. The language was only agreed to because I was told that a settlement would provide safeguards for our community. Contradictory to the same memorandum, mediation was, get back. Contradictory to the same memorandum, there are no intended park amenities agreed on. These appear to be county staff talking points with no cost. In closing, the reasoning behind the 2016 lawsuit still stands. Thank you.
Next, please. Name and address for the record, please.
Okay, Mitchell Kobernick, 5001 South Shore in Gulf Harbors. I'm speaking regarding item 100. Commissioners, first I'd like to say that I would love to see a park on the old Gulf Harbors golf course, but the path that we're on right now does not get us there. There was limited remediation done by the seller, but the land is still contaminated, just less so. Our appraisal of $275,000 may be generous. That means you are paying $1 million more than the land is worth. You are also forgiving county liens where the county paid to correct code violations, wiping out money the county should recover. This is taxpayer money you are so casually throwing away. Also want to do MSBU on the property owners in Gulf Harbors to pay for half the purchase price and all future maintenance and improvements. Your last attempt to patch such an MSBU met with strong opposition, and a lawsuit was even filed to contest it, which is still out there. It is a safe bet that this new MSBU, which now you intend to pass without a vote of the residents, designed to circumvent that suit, will be met with even more resistance, and rightly so. That likely will include another lawsuit to protect Gulf Harbor's property owners from this open checkbook from the county with no safeguards as to what the county could do with the property, even over the opposition of the residents that will be most affected by it. Regarding another golf course previously acquired by the property, commissioners have said that once we own it, we can do what we want with it. For Gulf Harbors, that would seem to include dumping dredging spoils, as spelled out in the recent dredging report from GBA. What else might the land be used for that we're not aware of yet? So it's clear that absent enforceable safeguards, the county indeed will do what it wants with the property. You intend to pass this new MSBU only after the purchase, knowing that it will face opposition. How can you proceed with this purchase without confirming how you will pay for it? The reality is, if the MSBU is not passed, county taxpayer funds would have been used for the entire purchase. In this time where small business is suffering and the county is facing severe revenue shortfalls, how do you justify spending $1.2 million on a vanity project rather than using those funds to help Pasco businesses that are suffering? And the timing is suspicious. This is the last BCC meeting before the election, so it sure looks like you were trying to get this done before new commissioners are seated. They may have other opinions about what you are doing here, which is nothing more than a bailout for your buddies.
Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
You have a great day, sir.
Thank you. You too.
And what's awesome is that we'll have a update from the Pasco EDC in just a little while. Hold on, in just a little while to talk about all the great things that are happening when it comes to economic development in the county and what the county has done to help small businesses. So stay tuned for that, sir. Ma'am, name and address for the record, please.
Kathleen Everett, 5125 Galleon Court in Newport Richey, Florida.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Thank you.
I am also here for AC 100. I am not against the park. And please also note that Gulf Harbor Civic Association does not represent every citizen. I am here today to ask you to table the purchase of the Gulf Harbor's golf course until such a time that an as-is appraisal can be obtained for the value as it sits today, including the current contamination level. As you know, the previous appraisals that were in excess of $275,000 were not as-is appraisals and valued with contingencies. These contingencies are not the intended use of the golf course with this purchase, again making the value immensely overinflated. At a previous meeting, the comment was made to me that the value of real property is what any buyer and seller are willing to pay. Many of us are not willing to pay that price. If you feel confident that you're doing right by the residents of Gulf Harbor, then why do you not want to have a vote held by an independent company? I'm thinking you're only afraid it will not pass. In addition, the contract appears to be cleverly worded on page 2, paragraph 6, continued on to page 3, with the word property may be used for recreational uses. The wording should read, must be able to be used for recreational, with additional cost to the buyer in order to do so. Please consider correcting that on the contract. If you want to continue being so disrespectful of our hard-earned money, then at least in the MSBU, have the committee be all Gulf Harbor residents and not just the ones that were part of this travesty. The MSBU should have a cap, since there's no control over the increases of the non-ad valorem taxes at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have anybody else, Tracy? Okay, thank you. That does end public comment. I appreciate it. Okay, well, before we move to consent, I do have a time certain. I see our tax collector, Senator Fasano, is here. I'd like to invite him up at this time. Good morning. How are you? Excellent. So you have a big crowd forming in front of your office there to vote, yes.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to come before you this morning. It won't take but a couple of minutes. As you know, each year we do our best to try and bring you some dollars. With the pandemic and COVID-19, we expected to have a significant reduction this year. In fact, we sent a letter, I think, to you and to Mr. Biles, telling you that we thought that we'd be in half of what we expected, which would have been just about $1.5 million. So I'm here. God bless my staff. We were able to keep things going, even though we had to close our lobbies. We still continue to provide service. I will also tell you that we were #1 in the states and continue to be in giving out concealed weapon permits.
Awesome.
Awesome, yeah. I tell people I'm arming everybody in Pasco. But the good news is I'm here to present to you a check in the amount of $3,457,000. Of that amount, I've spoken to Mr. Biles and his staff. We are building a facility. I shouldn't say building. I apologize. Renovating a facility in San Ann that will house our department that oversees the printing and the mailing of our tax notices and our monthly registration renewals, and the list goes on. We've already put out so much to the contractor, but as you know, state law says that you cannot, a tax collector cannot take money and roll it over to the next year. We have to get rid of it. So with that said, we are asking from that $3,457,000, $305,000 to be put to the side to when we have to pay the contractor. So you can keep $3.1 million. I want $305,000.
I think we have that on consent this morning.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir.
That is correct.
So if I can, I'll bring this to the clerk.
You can bring it to me and I'll hand it to the clerk.
Okay, very good. Very good.
I get to touch it first. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your great work, and thanks for your team's great work.
I'm telling you, I'm blessed. And we'll need a signature, and I'll take that one back. Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Okay.
That's proof that you gave it to me, right? Maybe I should have had the clerk sign that.
I'll meet you later on, Mr.
There we go.
I want a special thanks to not only to you, Commissioners. Your leadership in this county has been second to none as we go through this pandemic. Your county administrator and his staff, Dan Biles, has been phenomenal in leading us through this serious crisis, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing. The things that we've been able to do at our office with temperature gauging, with a ticketless queue list, a queue list that we're able to give people tickets so they can wait in their cars, and they are text when their numbers come up. I mean, and Dan has been outstanding in making sure that happens, and we appreciate it. So God bless you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to the consent agenda. Give me 1 second here. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. I have a pull sheet. Item C11, withdrawal. C13, pull and revise. C18, pull and revise. C20, pull and revise. C35, pull and revise. C45, pull and revise. C49, pull and revise. C52, pull and revise. AC99 is withdrawn. Commissioners, do we have anything else you would like to be put on the pull sheet? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
To accept the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the consent agenda. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
C11 withdrawn. C13, Mr. Engel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and board members. David Engel, Office of Economic Growth. Before you is a agenda item, the agreement that was downloaded on in Civic Clerk is the correct agreement. We have heard that when people email it, it re-engages the red line, so we just wanted to make sure you had the proper version in front of you. Thank you.
Entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
A motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Ms. Baracaldo, C18.
Good morning, Commissioners. Paula Baracaldo, Building Construction Services. We are just adding Exhibit 1 to the agreement. Copies of this document have been distributed, and also copies have been provided to the clerk's office.
Move
to approve. Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion passes. C20, Mr. Pitos.
Morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
Mr. Chairman, this is Nectarios Pitos, Planning and Development Department, and item 20, it's the updated task order for the mobility fee update. The task order number has been corrected, signature lines have been added, and a typographical error was fixed in the total amount for the project.
Move to approve. Second.
A motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Gorrig, C35.
Good morning, Robert Gorg, Pasco County Budget Director. C35, I had inadvertently uploaded the incorrect attachment into our agenda software. The correct attachment is before you this morning.
Okay. Move to approve. Second.
A motion, second, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Garbala, C45, 49, and 52.
Good morning. Mike Carbala, Assistant County Administrator, Public Infrastructure. On item C45, a new bond rider had to be issued, so that there were changes to the original signed and sealed date.
Move to approve. Second.
A motion, second, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion passes. C49.
On item C49, the original agenda item had a draft version of a report that was purported to be final. It's actually not really germane to the agenda item and therefore does not need to be considered.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion, second, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion passes. Thank you. And 52, please.
On item C52, we received the original irrevocable standby letter of credit and edited the agenda memo to include it.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, second, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion passes. Thank you. I need to mix some things up here a little bit, everybody. C67, if I'm not correct, I do not have Pasco EDC live. They are via WebEx. Is that correct?
I believe so. Yeah, Bill Cronin, he was on WebEx.
Okay. Because I have some time certains and stuff, I'm going to go ahead with Mike Napier. Bill, I'm sorry, you're not being bumped, but you may be bumped to the afternoon. Just be aware. We got to see how we do the rest of the morning, okay? So stay tuned. And I'm going to bring up Mike Napier. Just by the way, R68, folks, and thanks for Commissioner Starkey bringing this all our attention. That is going to be brought back, from my understanding. I think you're bringing it back the November meeting with Ms. Starkey, or Commissioner Starkey?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Starkey is bringing that back in November. So R68 will be continued at that date. We don't need a motion because there was no action being taken. Okay. Mr. Napier, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Napier, Florida Department of Health, Pasco County, 10841 Little Road, Newport Richey. I appreciate the opportunity to come back and give you an update. It was 30 days since the last update, and I wish I had better news. Our goal when we talked last time was let's see what the data looks like and maybe we can make decisions. I can get the next slide. This is the meat and potatoes of where we're at right now. We have 10,294 positive cases. That was as of yesterday. That's a 3.5% increase over the last 7 days. That's 358 new cases just this past week. The total population infected was just under 2%, and we have a 1%, less than 1%, 0.04 population has died. That's 229 cases. That's a typo on the, looks like it's grayed out there. So the other point that we talk about is the 7-day rolling average of cases. Last month when I was here, we had increased from 29 cases per day on average for 7 days up to 49. As of today, we're looking at 53 cases per day. That represented an 8.1% increase from last month when I came and spoke with you. The other part that's a little bit alarming is that our 14-day rolling average, that's the percent of positive cases that we get each day, has climbed from 3.2% to 4.5%. That represents a 40% increase in the number of positive cases percentage-wise. The next slide, please. I like to show you this because this is the raw data that people are always interested in looking at. The circled areas is, again, where our positive cases are, And as of today, we have 227 deaths. I would draw your attention to the right-hand side. It's a little hard to see, but that gives us an average age of each cases. When we get 50 cases in each day, they break that down by age group, but they also tell us what the average age is. The next slide. We've talked a lot about testing and how much testing we're doing and what % positive of those cases. This graph really just demonstrates how many results we get each day and then what % positive. A couple of those blips where we saw 12.9, many of you probably have seen in the media where we've had some data collection issues where they've had data dumps, and so that was an aberration. The concerning point is that back in early September, we were below 3% on a 7-day rolling average. Now, as you can see, each day over the last several days, we're inking up to 5%. The next slide. Because this slide's getting kind of busy, I broke that down, and what this slide demonstrates is the blue line, the blue bar graph demonstrates the number of cases each day. The darker line that keeps kind of going off to the end of the chart is the cumulative number of cases, and then the red line or the orange line is the 7-day average. We also put in here, and if we can flip to the next page, it's a little easier to see. The next page is right here, is cutting it down since August to give you a better idea of those numbers when you had the spike. We are seeing those numbers trailing up a little bit. We marked in there where we had reopening of the bars, we've had phase 3 openings, school openings, and while we're not seeing a huge increase, we are trending up, and statistically we are trending in the wrong direction. When I spoke to you last time, our hopes were that those numbers would continue to trail down back to our or at least maintain back to our early September numbers, but we're actually slightly increasing from those numbers. The next slide, we talked a little bit about regionally. The dark graph is Hillsborough County. The next one down, I guess the green color is Pinellas, and we're the red graph. It demonstrates that we work lockstep. And when we talk about a regional approach, while our numbers are lower because of per capita, it does demonstrate that we are one community when it comes to our cases. I would draw your attention to the very end of that graph. If you follow, Pinellas has done pretty well over the last several months. They're starting to see an increase. I spoke with a health officer yesterday morning, and he is concerned that his cases are starting to climb, and you can see that at the very end. The next slide, please. I presented this to you last time and talks a little bit about some metrics and criteria to use. This was from CDC and the Harvard Global Public Health Institute. As I mentioned before, we were at 30 cases per day back in early September. When I presented to you last month, we were up to 49 cases on a 7-day rolling average, and today we sit at 53%. Or 53 cases per day on an average for 7 days. Our goal and our goal mark would be that we'd have 1 case per day per 100,000, which means we'd have about 5.5 cases a day. That's the gold standard, and we've got a ways to get there. The next slide. We know that schools was one of the questions, was what was going to be the impact of schools. I got to give a shout out to the school system. They've been great in working with the students and faculty in the health department and working in letting parents know as soon as we can about a positive case. I will tell you that the schools are not driving our case increases. They represent roughly 15% of our cases, which is what we had seen previously. The part that probably most of you have heard from some constituents of some kind, and I know some staff here have been impacted, but we have 3,346 students that have been exposed to someone that was positive, which means that they need to be isolated for those days, and that interrupts with everything from football practices to SAT scores to all the things that life continues to go on. We understand that it's disruptive, but we're also trying to prevent the spread. I had a long talk with my staff yesterday morning and asked about, are we seeing spread within the schools? In other words, is there kids that are sick and they're spreading it to their classmates? The school's doing an extremely good job, and we're not finding spread within the school system itself. Typically, what we're finding is that a parent is sick and then the child becomes sick. It's not being spread within the school system. The next slide. The conclusion, we're continuing to see trends upward in the number of cases. Not from last time when I was here in front of you, we went from 29 to 50. We're only going from 50 to 53, so we're not seeing the same steep climb that we saw last time. Our positivity rate is concerning. We were feeling pretty good when we were at 3%. We're getting pretty close to 5% right now in the number of cases out of all the testing that we're doing. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't remind you all to get the flu shot. It's never too late. Every corner has a place to get the flu shot, and we want to make sure that this is a good reminder for everyone to get the flu season, and we want to encourage people to get the flu shot. I'd be happy to take any questions, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Napier. Commissioner Oakley, good on the line.
Mr. Napier, I noticed last week there were some rapid tests given at some outdoor events.
Mm-hmm.
And some people that evening were shown to be positive, only to go the next morning to the doctor's office and be proven they were actually negative.
Mm-hmm.
So are those rapid tests just not very good tests, or, it seems like they're having some false readings
Sure.
on some of those?
There's the antigen test, and then there's the antibody test. The antigen test is pretty good at detecting positive cases. If you take an antigen test and you get test positive, you have a high probability, in the 95th percentile, that it's positive. If it's negative, it's about an 80% positivity. So anybody who tests negative on an antigen test, we're recommending they still go get a PCR test. It's one of those immediate, yep, you're positive, but if it's negative, you're not real sure where your status is. So that's where the problem is. The second thing I need to tell you is that with the antigen test, they've given a lot of those tests out to various doctors' offices, nursing homes. And the problem is that they're not reporting positives back to us, because currently a lab runs those results, and those labs send those reports back to us at the health department. The antigen test is done in a doctor's office, is done somewhere. It's positive, they notify the client, but we're working through a portal to make sure that we get that information so that we can do the contact tracing. Someone's positive, but we don't know it until, sometimes as much as a week later that they've been out, and we've not been able to do the epidemiology part of it.
Yeah. This one person I know, they said they were positive that evening, and the next day went to the doctor's office and they were shown to be negative based on the doctor's office.
Without knowing the specific test that was run, whether it was an antibody or antigen test, that would be hard to say. But yes, there is some confusion out there about test results.
Right. I've still heard another question about masks, and everybody's, a lot of people are against it, a lot of people are for it. I'm for it. I don't think it's time, and with the cases coming up like they are, I think we should continue our mask, but I'm gonna leave that up to y'all. I think I'd feel a lot better if we had a vaccine that we could start being vaccinated. I'd feel better at that point in time if we do have a mask, but right now it seems like it's a thing we need to be very watchful about continuing.
Sure.
For some time, I guess. So, not really a question, but I've heard people very positive about use of masks being very good.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody's here saying that masks are fun to use, or nobody enjoys using them. We understand that. It's just a matter of the times we're in and the need to be able to do something to prevent the spread of the disease.
Right.
Commissioner Starkey.
I just want to kind of make a comment. So I just returned from visiting my granddaughter in Connecticut, and then driving through the country to a wedding in North Carolina, and then driving here. And I know the masks are uncomfortable, but we don't have a strict mask ordinance, because I can tell you that where I've been, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, you got to wear it everywhere. You have to wear it walking down the sidewalk. You are wearing it when you step outside your door. I didn't see that really here. I mean, it's really odd to me to be out biking on a trail and seeing someone biking or hiking with a mask on when there's no one around and you're out in the woods. But that is what I saw as I traveled down the East Coast. So, I think we need to continue. I don't think our mask ordinance is way over the line. I know that even if we were to do something, many of the stores would still continue to have their rules, And as a small business owner with, I don't know what we have, 40 employees or so, they would not be working because we've already had one employee lose a family member, at least one. And they are nervous to be confronted with people without wearing masks. And so I say stay the course still. You know, so that's where I am. Thank you.
Well, I'm just kind of go down the line and see. Did you have anything, Commissioner Wells, before I go to Commissioner Mariano? Or was this kind of moving down the line?
No, Mike, you know, I mean, like I said before, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I mean, so I'm assuming you're telling us that you recommend us continuing with the masks?
Yeah.
I know the number before was under 5%. I know we're right there at 5%. You know, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I think from not only our county standpoint, but from a regional standpoint, I spoke with each of my counterparts in Pinellas and Pasco, Pinellas and Hillsborough County yesterday morning. They're in front of their boards today and tomorrow, and I think the consensus was that as a region, we were looking to continue to make sure that the mask ordinance was still in place, and there's no evidence that they're going to be able to point to. If I was standing here and our numbers had declined since my last presentation, and we're starting to make good progress, then all right, that might be a little different conversation. But right now, with what our numbers are demonstrating, I couldn't suggest that the data says that we should change course of what we're at right now.
Anything else? Commissioner Mariano?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a video I was watching, and it was one I had kind of seen before, but I don't know if the rest of you had seen it. So it's about Dr. Fauci and the Surgeon General making comments about the masks a long time ago. And then as he makes his comments, there's some commentary from some OSHA specialists that deal with masks about what they think. So if we just get that little segment, that'd be great.
First it was locking down, right? It was
Only about
social
a minute.
distancing, and then this mask thing seemed to come out of nowhere. And we saw virtually every professional, from Fauci himself to the Surgeon General, saying, oh yeah, you don't want to wear a mask. In fact, it might even spread the illness. At the very least, it's going to do nothing at all.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And
We got a glitch going on here.
often there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
So we recommend that people who are sick wear a mask. We recommend that people who are around someone who's COVID positive wear a mask, but do not recommend that the general public wears masks as a protective mechanism.
Why did you decide to, what was it in your world? I don't live in a mask world. This is what you do for a living. When you started seeing on the news, we want everybody in the country wearing masks, what was your first thought?
Well, that was the red flag for me. That's why I jumped in and got involved. I mean, it was all very concerning to me because it didn't make sense. But originally, when the experts, including Dr. Fauci, was saying, healthy people do not need to wear masks, there's no need for that. And then all of a sudden, we started getting this COVID fatigue, and we were kind of getting over it at about week 3, 4, 5, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden now, everybody flip-flops, and oh, we need to mask up. And I went, whoa, 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 we don't just mask up. That is not only illegal and it violates our civil liberties, right?
Right.
It is incredibly dangerous and unsafe and unhealthy. And that's when I started speaking up, and that's how Kristen and I met.
Well, also, within my career field, I used to work in hospitals, and I've sat on numerous infectious disease boards. And what I did is I sat and educated nurses, doctors, surgeons on how to deal with flu outbreaks, the SARS outbreak. So I knew, yes, there's something called the hierarchy of safety and controls. We have the engineering standards, there's work practices that you change. PPE is a last resort. But when you're dealing with infectious disease patients, these are not the masks that you wear. Even N95s are not fully rated to protect against a virus. These micron sizes, again, they're not rated by the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. They're not approved for this use, so not only is this a bad idea, there's numerous studies for years based off of the flu outbreaks across the world several years ago that not only do these ear loop masks and cloth masks not work, they're increasing the spread through fomite transmission, which is a form of cross-contamination. You're touching your face. No one is trained on when you're supposed to change these out. No one is trained that when they're soiled or you're working in a humid environment, These things increase the spread. You re-inhale your exhausted gaseous waste, and you can increase your viral load. So if you are ill, not only can you continue to spread it, because you're not understanding the hand hygiene aspect of that, but you will be sicker longer.
Speaking of inhaling your own gases, I actually did a video with my son Ever. For anyone that might have missed it, I got...
Okay. He'll go on to talk about, and shows actually his son doing a mask test properly, and how the reduction of oxygen leads to a higher contents of contamination under the mask. If you just go to page 9 of the 13 of the document I sent you with the COVID update, Dr. Russell Blaylock says, it's known that the N95 mask as worn for hours can reduce blocks oxygenation as much as 20%, which can lead to a loss of consciousness, as happened to the hapless fellow driving around in his car wearing a N95 mask when he passed out and crashed his car. Go down a little bit further to the next paragraph. The recommendations by the CDC and the WHO are not based on any studies of this COVID virus and have never been used to contain any of other virus pandemic in the history. I want to read to you one email I got, and I'm not sure how many were out there, but this is a gentleman that wanted me to let you all know, and through transmission, as we know, this COVID thing, people don't always know what to do. So I'm just going to read this email he said. It says, it's time you and your friends change the rule on face masks. It should be up to the people, not Pasco County. I am 70 with COPD. I go to the gym 6 days a week without a mask. I was in the Marines, had bladder cancer, am not afraid of death, am not afraid of living my life without with your controls. You're not my mother. This is about the election. More than 700,000 people die every year from cancer, but no one says a word about cancer. It's time we do the right thing and remove the mask. Now, one of the other things that you read about is the preventions of death are so much better. I mean, you can look at the president, what he just went through, how quick he bounced back. Hydroxychloroquine is getting out there a little bit more. Bedenicide has got like a 95% cure rate. Remdesivir is something very expensive, but still can help. So we're treating it a lot better. And when you look at 229 deaths in Pasco County, it's 0.043%. Is that correct?
Yep.
So that's four deaths out of a... Yeah.
A little less than 0.5%.
I mean, the numbers are staggeringly low, and I will tell you, the people I talk to are frustrated. I'm all about making it strongly recommend. Let the people that want to wear it, but don't make it that everybody has to wear it. I think the numbers are low enough, they're strong enough, and they may stay right at that number. Are we ever going to get rid of this thing? Let people that want to protect themselves to go that way do it, but this virus, as that doctor had mentioned, or the mask expert had mentioned, it can still go through the N95 mask from what they're saying, and you're not getting that full protection, and these reduced oxygen levels are not healthy as well. I've even got one lady who was telling me how she has an infection from wearing a mask. So I'm going to make a motion that we change our mask recommendation to strongly recommend.
There's a motion on the floor.
Discussion.
Go ahead.
And Mike, I mean, and I want to thank you and your team. I mean, I agree with Commissioner Mariano, but I don't look at all the other stuff. I don't look on Facebook. I listen to you because I feel you're our expert, which you are, your team. That's who I listen to on purpose, because there's stuff out there all over. The stuff the Commissioner, I don't disagree with it. But I think if you're sick, you should wear a mask. If you think you might have it, you should wear a mask to help others. And I don't really have an issue doing it because if I can say, like I've already said, but I do agree with you, Commissioner. I just don't think there's three other votes. And again, I think we should make it highly. And you talk about the region. You still have Hernando, Citrus, Polk. Does Polk?
No.
That's what I thought. So we got 3 counties in the region that aren't making people wear masks. And again, we should highly recommend it because folks should be wearing the mask and social distance and, so
If I could just comment that the speakers here were trying to say that, or trying to prove that masks could be 100% foolproof. That's not the point of face masks. They're not 100% bulletproof. If you wear it exactly, perfectly, that there's a suggestion that there's no way you're going to get the virus. The mask is one of 3 ways to ensure that we reduce the spread of the disease. Not entirely stop it, but I think there's some notion that the masks that want to be implied that, well, a mask is going to solve all the problems. That's why we have social distancing and hand washing to go along with that the mask is only one component, and I don't think anyone said it's foolproof. It's just a matter of one of multiple things that we use to manage the spread of the disease.
So I'm going to jump in this discussion a little bit too. And this is a suggestion, Commissioner. So I got a call from the Advent CEO last week. I'm trying to remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember. Unsolicited called me and said, hey, what are you guys doing, with masks? And I said, well, it's still in place. We have an update from the health department on Tuesday. And once again, he goes, you can bring this up. He goes, you can have any commissioner call me. And I suggest you do this. Listen to the local healthcare professionals, give them a call, hospital CEOs, medical directors. That's important. These are the people here in Pasco County. He told me, he goes, unfortunately, our hospitalizations have just increased again. He goes, I can't answer why. He goes, but they have. Then another letter, was it 2 weeks ago, from the medical director from Advent again, making that recommendation. So I don't know how many people here besides myself receive those calls and those emails and have those discussions with hospital CEOs, medical directors, ER physicians, epidemiologists, infectious disease physicians, which I do constantly because I know a lot of them as well. Coming from a healthcare background, I have a lot of the connections, obviously. I have a wife that works in the COVID pit on a daily basis, as you well know, and sees what's happening. I'm just making a suggestion that reach out and have those conversations. I'm seeing things here, which is fine, but these aren't, I don't know any of these people. I don't know one of them. So let me keep going. I don't know any of them. So how about we have a conversation, or you have a conversation, or any other commissioner wants to, with our local physicians, our local hospital CEOs, our local epidemiologists, infectious disease doctors, and get their opinions and have them write us a letter that they say it's no good. I would love to see that, because you're not going to get one, but I at least suggest you have a conversation with them. That's my suggestion. Anybody, this is across the board.
I can tell you from a regional standpoint, we were talking to the hospital executives at one point, and there was floated an idea when we first, we meaning the Department of Health, talked to the regional health official, medical community, suggested that they have masks until flu season was over.
Yeah,
and that was,
I heard that.
Yeah, and so we kind of balked at that, saying, well, that isn't really what I think the commission's looking for. I think that was just a blanket statement, and so I don't think that really helps our cause. I think we're trying to be able to come down to some numbers and be able to help provide that guidance.
Again, that's a suggestion for anybody. Have that conversation with them. I mean, see if they'll write something different. If they will, I mean, ask an infectious disease physician here in Pasco County, or an epidemiologist, what they agree with or disagree with on what's here. Because I go by who actually physical people I have conversations with, or I talk to them personally on the telephone, or I talk to them in person. I don't know any of these people. I don't know who these people are. I don't know if they're real or not, because the stuff I see on Facebook kind of cracks me up sometimes, to be honest with you. Because I know some of the stuff on Facebook is definitely not real. I never use social media for anything when it comes medically related. I will never, ever take that serious. Just like a physician's not going to take that serious. These people go to medical school for a long time. We have, so that's who I think we should be having conversations with. Invite them in. That'd be a suggestion.
Commissioner?
Or at least Zoom. They're not going to come in here. But no, Commissioner Marion's first. But
you never look over here.
Yeah, sorry. No. I did look over. You guys went first. Now anyway, that's a suggestion. Maybe invite them to get on a Zoom with us if they're willing to have that discussion. I'm sure a lot of them would be willing to, but I don't know if they'll collaborate this. Go, please.
Okay. As far as locally, been to a few nurses over the past 6 months, whatever, and
My wife's a nurse.
and one's allergies, matter of fact, 2 of them. And frankly, they tell me that, they've had enough of the mask. I've talked to other nurses, other situations.
Is there a physician willing to write a statement?
I didn't say physician, I just said the nurses. So I'm talking about the conversation I had with people that are real, that are here local, that deal with it every day. But, let's face it, when we first heard about this thing, the scare factor of getting death and going through. I mean, let's face it, when we saw what Como did up in New York, putting all those people in nursing homes and all the death rates skyrocketing, and then we had our own in nursing homes that skyrocketed these numbers because most of these deaths are people how old?
70 and over.
70 and
65
over.
Yeah.
A lot of them had other conditions, not just strictly COVID. And then we get numbers that have been pushed down our throats for so high, and recently they said 94% of all the deaths, only 6% were just COVID alone. The number is 229 right now. Do you have a chart to show what that graph has gone and where that graph is looking at right now as far as deaths? How does it look?
Yeah, it's flattened out. It mirrors the graph that we had up there before with the spike in the number of cases. It was the deaths were a microcosm of that spike.
Yeah. So again, it's really just a matter of, I'm all for people wearing the mask, especially if you're safe. You need to protect yourself. If you're older, if you got conditions, et cetera, you got to protect yourself. I'm not saying don't wear it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do, but I just want to get the freedom back to the people that want to go and live their lives without it. Let them have that choice. Nothing wrong with wearing it. You can make your decisions. If you're going to be in a crowded area, put it on. If you feel comfortable, take it off. Take it off. But I don't think
But
the
that's what
numbers
our
are.
ordinance says.
I just don't think the numbers are as drastic to go to strongly recommend you fine. And a business can control it. If the business says, "I want you to wear a mask when you're coming in," the business can make that statement. It's in Hernando. They don't have the mandatory mask mandate, right? But you go shopping up there, you can go find a store that says you have to wear a mask. You have to wear a mask. Let the business control it, not us to control them. I mean, I don't know. It's the land of the free, isn't it?
What's the death rate, since Hernando was brought up, compared to Pasco County of the of the cases that's been?
Nearly double. I checked it just this morning, and when you take the population rate, all that together, their death rate is nearly double what ours is.
So I think just a reminder too, because I know we have a lot of people in the public watching too, is that there's no mandate for outdoors in Pasco County, like Commissioner Starkey said. So, outdoors, whether you're at a gathering, that choice is up to you, up to the people you're with. If you're walking, jogging, if you're in a neighborhood barbecue, whatever, that's your decision, obviously, to make. If you're at a restaurant, if you're sitting down, obviously you don't have to wear one, or another type of establishment that's not there. Certain businesses too. I personally, just to be honest, since we're having this conversation, that I could tell was 2 businesses. One, we know who it is because he emails us constantly and, on a regular basis. And the other one was a business, but I had to remind him that it was an office, and they don't have to require that because they're in individual offices. So, okay, thanks, didn't know that. So I think just making sure we educate too, making sure we constantly put out the information. So for county staff, obviously, maybe another reminder out there on where and when currently, it's required to actually have one. Commissioner Starkey.
2 things. One, I just texted with my friend John Corse, and I think Commissioner Mariano, you know John, and maybe Commissioner Wells. He was the CEO of North Bay. Then he went on to be CEO of a large hospital down south, and now he's the CEO of Tampa General, which is probably the #1 hospital, Tampa Bay area. And I said, John, keep the mask ordinance. What's your thoughts? And he said, keep it, please. Why would the commission stop the one thing that is actually working and keeping the economy going? It makes no sense. Tell the commission if they are pro-economy, then they need to help the public make good decisions around public health-related activity. I was on the Open Florida Task Force and support the governor's plan, but masking, social distancing, and making good decisions around crowds is critically important to keeping our economy open and thriving. But I would agree with what some of the people are saying in that I think where we're falling down is mask hygiene. And so if your office could please give us maybe a bullet point of proper mask hygiene, I think that's really important for us to get out there because I see it all the time. And I don't have my mask on right now, but I wear my mask on what's called a mask leash. I actually make them. and I give them to my friends, so that you're not, grabbing your mask and sticking it in your pocket and then putting it back on, because why would you want to touch that part? No, so, we need some rules on good mask hygiene, because we don't want people to get sicker because they're wearing a mask. So I think we are falling down there. So
Great point.
I'd love to put that on my
Work with Dan
newsletter
on
and,
that. Yep, we'll work with Dan on
and
that.
get that out.
Yep.
So, thank you.
So, I mean, there's a motion on the floor, so I'm calling for a
Not-
second. Do I have a second?
And again, I wouldn't mind seconding, but there's not support, and again, I support Mike and his team,
We'll get there.
Okay. So I
Mr.
have a
Chairman.
motion, no seconds, that motion dies.
Mr. Chairman, can I make
And
this-
then more in discussion by Commissioner Mariano.
Just a little bit more, thank you, sir. And, I want to say, I appreciate every one of these board members. We talk about things, I like it, we have a full discussion, it's good. Mike, I know it's a lots of information you're looking at and looking at all the sorts of dynamics. I'm just, looking at folks that I talk to, business that I see, that I think I need to bring these points out as well. I would like to make one mention. One of the sets of masks, I think, that Eric, you might have on and Mike's got on, is that like the 2-layer set of masks? There's like a cloth layer and then there's a plastic inside or something? That's kind of replaceable, retractable? Maybe it's not.
Mine doesn't have 2 layers, it's got a pocket inside for a filter to go inside.
Right, so that filter, you got to make sure you maintain that. They say that actually even cuts your oxygen levels down even higher. It's on the rest of the video that was there, but maybe we just want to keep an eye on replacing that. And one other thought, I think it would be good for our staff to go out and do a video. Like Commissioner Stark, as you said, people walking outside with a mask doesn't make any sense. People sitting in a car by themselves, especially if it's going to reduce your consciousness, we need to get a video out there. At least we're going to go through with this. Let's protect our citizens better and give them more information about when to wear it, when not to wear it, and just protect them that much more.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Thank you.
That's a great point. I mean, I do, again, I'm not knocking anybody at all, but if you're driving down the road in a car by yourself, that does not do you any good. You do not need to wear it. And I think, Mike, you would agree with that. There are certain circumstances like that, you're okay. I mean, when you're in the car by yourself driving down the street, and I see quite a few of them, whether it be here or somewhere else. You don't need to do that, take it off and obviously be comfortable. So, good point, Commissioner Mariano.
Thank you.
Okay. So, no more questions. Mr. Napier, thank you again, and thank you your team for your time.
Thanks for your recipe.
Okay. I have a copy, but we're gonna wait. So, Bill, are you online, Mr. Cronin? I think I see you there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I have a question for you. And I don't want to rush you, that's why I'm going to ask you this question now. 10 minutes or less? If not, I'm going to come back to you. It's your call.
I can do it.
You sure?
I can do it.
Again, we don't want to rush you.
No, I'll get to the good stuff right away.
Okay, I'm going to let you take it away then.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commission. I'm reporting on Pasco EDC's fourth quarter reporting, which is also our end of the year reporting for October fiscal year. If I could have someone bring up the first slides. And go ahead and advance. Okay, just real quick, where we're at with our pipeline. We had 13 competitive projects that we won for this year. We've got a total of 44 active projects right now. I think it's very newsworthy because I just read the news of the Business Journal, and Community of Jacksonville reported they had 43 active projects. So for our community to have 44 and them to have 43, I think is a good barometer to compare ourselves. If you go to the next slide, please. And be happy to report the majority of them in our pipeline are manufacturing. That makes almost all of our commissioners happy. And me too. Next slide. Now, this is what I really wanted to make sure that you saw today. So we ended the year with 15 total wins. Our goal was 12. And as of September 30th, at about 4:30 in the afternoon, we received a commitment from a company that we're going to be bringing to you November 17th for 875 jobs. Very large project. That put us over not only our goal of 1,000, but our record for the most recruited jobs in any one fiscal year at 1,464 total jobs committed this year from wins. I think it's not only significant in the sense that it's a record breaker, but it was amidst COVID that a lot of this activity was taking place. So when we look at how the business community is going, it is definitely going to Pasco. And of that, $104 million of new capital investment. I heard earlier mention about small business and what we're doing with small business. I'll mention to you that out of that 15 projects, 4 were expansions here locally. And that was 104 more jobs, and 12.5 million of that 104 is expansions of our local business. So people are not only moving here, but they're moving here and continuing to grow. If I could advance the slides, please. And I'm going to go through these really rapidly. Overall, we hit the majority of our goals. Some of the things like company visits and trade shows and things like that. Last quarter were really difficult. Some converted into hybrid shows or virtual, and some were just postponed to next year. Go ahead and continue to advance the slides. We do have a number of events that we did manage to attend, most of them virtual. Keep going. And some of the missions, this is where we get on a plane and go to visit companies and convince them to move here. Those, of course, were postponed. Continue on. We did make some presentations. We're doing very new styles of presentations, a lot of hybrids now. Go on. And we're still getting a lot of really good media value. So over $1 million in estimated earned media value. Continue on. And keep going. All of this is in your packets as well, too. So I'd ask you to go to the leadership update, which is the last few slides. So we still have, there we go, year-end summary. So, back one. In lieu of our annual awards this year, you all worked with us to host a live event, the Pasco 2020. It was our largest year for jobs recruited that I mentioned previously. And in addition to our reported activities, we're continuing to focus on building resiliency, to work with our small businesses to help them grow, to get stronger, and to administer those compliance requirements for the Pasco Emergency Business Grants that we were awarded earlier this year. We're also providing advice to some of our peers around the state on how to handle things like resiliency and grants. And then we've started 2 new task forces. So a task force for Food Hub will be making its final recommendations later this week. And then the Office of Industrial Trends will disseminate a new real estate report that they'll be disseminating. And the new task forces will be on reshoring, which is very popular. We're talking about bringing back manufacturing to the United States, PPE, supply chain, those types of things. And then also sustainable programming for our programs that are funded entirely by the penny, so that they have a game plan to either roll out in case we take it in a different direction with the penny in the next referendum. And we're also going to be adding a real estate committee to our list of committees. Next slide, please. And upcoming events, one that's noteworthy this week, we have Small Business Growing Global, October 22nd. So we're one of the first organizations to actually host an event. We'll have social distancing. Some will be coming in virtually and a hybrid, but we have the Council General of Germany, the Council General of Mexico, and the Vice Council of Brazil that will be coming, as well as a lot of international speakers, and that's at the Hyatt this Thursday. Also, the Council General of Germany will be visiting some of our companies with Commissioner Starkey, who leads our Global Competitiveness Committee. So I'll stop there on the MOU, and then if just touch on the penny real quick, which is the next. Yeah, go ahead to the first slide where it says ready sites. And in summary, we've got 2 summary slides. Ready sites, happy to say we've got 6 sites evaluated, and actively marketing a 7th site in progress. If you haven't seen the videos, you saw the one for Zephyr Hills, I think, when we first started the videos. Check out our website and look at these videos. They're top notch, makes you proud to be in Pasco. Over 2,000 acres are evaluated for industrial projects. Internationally, some of our local companies have created export actions, over $110,000 of exporting to foreign markets. And on enhanced marketing, this is another one I'm really proud of. We won 3 awards this year from the International Economic Development Council, which is the accreditation agency for economic developers. One was for Smart Start. It won the gold for the entrepreneurship program for our overall program for communities bigger than 500,000. So that means we were competing with the New Yorks, the Houstons, the Chicagos of the world. Pasco Ready Sites also won a silver award. And the Workforce Connect won a bronze award for the website, and the Pasco Ready Sites was for the digital marketing that I mentioned earlier. Those are a really big deal for us, and I think it's not ironic that all 3 of these are penny programs. And I will stop there. The rest is in your packet. I know that there is a special event coming up, and also just want to thank the board for their continued support over this year, and thanks especially to Commissioner Wells, who has served as our liaison to our board this year. We wish him the best in his new role and look forward to working with him.
Thank you, Mr. Cronin. Do we have any questions or comments for Mr. Cronin at this time? Commissioner Mariano.
I'd just like to say, Bill, you've done a phenomenal job since coming here. The numbers every year get better and better, so greatly appreciate all your efforts, all your connections, and your great team that you have put together as well. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Commissioner Starkey?
Just really excited to hear about that manufacturing number. You know, those are great jobs, as you and I know. Of course, their number 1 issue is the talent pipeline, so we are all working hard on filling that. But great job on those manufacturing jobs. Wonderful.
Other questions, comments? You none? Thank you, Mr. Cronin.
We're good.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, hang tight for a second here.
Okay, are we going to get to commissioner items?
No.
I got staff sitting here that can't be here this afternoon.
I got jeans on.
Hold the gavel. That'll be the last time you get to hold the gavel.
It's nice.
You think so?
All right, Commissioner Wells. As we all know, today is your last day on the county commission. And I know we all have something we want to say to you in a few moments, but you will be missed. You'll truly be missed. So we want to do a special resolution for you today to obviously commend you and all your great efforts and the great things you've done on this commission over the years. So I will start. I may stop a few times in this too. So a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, honoring Mike Wells for 6 years of service and dedication to Pasco County and congratulating him on his election to the position of Pasco County Property Appraiser. Whereas the Honorable Mike Wells was elected to the Board of County Commissioners in November 2014 and has served as the District 4 Commissioner for 6 years. And whereas Commissioner Wells is a native Floridian and 40-plus year resident of Pasco County with a longstanding history of community service and advocacy. And whereas Commissioner Wells has participated in many volunteer activities and supports the Angeles, Sunrise of Pasco, and the Coastal Conservation Association. He is also a member of the National Association of Realtors, West Pasco Realtors, Florida Realtors, and Greater Pasco Chamber of Commerce and the National Rifle Association. And whereas as an avid outdoorsman, Commissioner Wells led a comprehensive initiative garnering state and local support to bring scalloping back to Pasco County for the first time in nearly 25 years. Yes, you can applaud for that. That's good. And whereas in addition to serving as both chairman and vice chair during his tenure on the board. Commissioner Wells has been appointed as the Pasco County Board Representative for the Area Agency on Aging, the Early Learning Coalition of Pasco and Hernando Counties, the Pasco Economic Development Council, Smart Start, West Pasco Entrepreneurial Center Advisory Board, the Property Value Adjustment Board, and the Tampa Bay Estuary Program. How did you have any time to sleep? Is what we ask you. He also sits on the board for the YMCA of the Suncoast, Alliance for Healthy Communities, the Alliance for Substance Abuse Prevention, the National Association of Counties, Veterans and Military Services Committee, United Way of Pasco, the Feeding Pasco's Elderly, and the Public Safety and Services Advisory Committee in empowering Pasco's veterans. That's a lot, right? Whereas Commissioner Wells worked in partnership with the Pasco Sheriff's Office and his fellow commissioners on many ordinances and programs to keep Pasco County a safe place to live, work, and play for residents, visitors, and businesses. And whereas, as a longtime county resident, Commissioner Wells felt strongly about improving the route to evacuate away from coastal hazard areas during a hurricane and supported the continued permit process and construction of the Ridge Road extension, which obviously we're seeing happen today. Whereas Commissioner Wells has followed his father's path as a commissioner and will continue to do so as an elected seat as the Pasco County property appraiser. And whereas Mike's hard work and dedication as a commissioner for Pasco County will be missed, and Pasco County Board of County Commissioners congratulate him on his new position as Pasco County property appraiser for Pasco County. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Pasco County, Florida, that said board hereby honors Mike Wells for 6 years of public service and dedication to Pasco County and congratulates him on his election to the position of Pasco County property appraiser. Done and resolved with a quorum present and voting this 20th day of October 2020. Mr. Chair, call the vote.
Yeah. Wait.
Can I get a
Move to approve.
second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Thank you.
So I'm going to come back. I know each of us have a few things we want to say, but in the meantime,
I can start. Thank you. We're gonna start over here.
yeah, I'll grab that gavel back. He only got it for a couple minutes.
Yeah, don't leave that in his hand very long. Commissioner Wells, I have certainly enjoyed this 4 years that I've just finished, being on this commission with you and, of course, all of our other commissioners also. But we've had a great commission. I think I'm sure some people in the past will say they always had a better commission, but I think ours was great. I think we were all put here at the right time to move Pasco forward, and I share that with you, that you played a big part in doing that and doing it the right way. And I certainly appreciate all that. It's my understanding that your office is going to be very close to mine, so I think we can continue. I might actually see you more then than I have while you were a commissioner, because we're in different directions. But when your office is going to be in Dade City and mine's in Dade City, so we'll share that. And within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to take you deer hunting and get you a deer. So
You hear that? He said he's gonna get me a deer. That's guaranteed.
oh yeah, we got them chained down out there. So.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So certainly appreciate everything you've done for the county and for the citizens of Pasco County, what you've done for them. And I'm sure they're very appreciative also. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Oakley.
Well, I would echo a lot of Commissioner Oakley's words, and it was always fun having the two mics. Now we just have one mic, but I called them the two mics. And now, maybe I can even learn more fishing because, Trey and I, we go fishing, but we don't go catching, as we say. And the only times I've really caught any fish in Pasco County is when I was with Mike. And so I appreciate your leadership here on the board. It's been really fun working with you all these years, and I look forward to working with you as property appraiser. I know you're going to do a great job, and see you around the water.
Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you. We're just going to what I'm going to do is just kind of go down the line, if that's okay, and if you would like to say anything, please go ahead.
I would love to. Mike, it's been a pleasure working with you in this role, and I can tell well, I know by experience that you care about Pasco County and you care about providing great government services. And it's been a pleasure working with you in our office in that. And I'm really excited for your new role because my office works really closely with the property appraiser's office. So I know that we'll be doing good things together. So I look forward to that, and congratulations.
Thank you, Nikki.
So again, I'll go now. I want to say thank you to the staff that helped out, obviously, with the resolution. Hopefully it was a surprise to you today. So you're still a commissioner for another month, so we haven't really lost you yet, but this will be the last, again, board meeting for the public that's watching, that Commissioner Wells will be here. So we obviously did want to take the time to recognize you today, and we're going to drag you out of here somewhere else after we, I'm sorry, are done here on the dais. But geez, we were sworn together back in was November 18th of 2014. First meeting, and it was a doozy of a meeting, if you remember correctly. You remember that? So that's when we actually had the old proposal for the tourism sports park, and we had to look at a certain former professional baseball player in the eye and tell that person on our first meeting, probably not the greatest idea that unfortunately you're bringing to us. But if you think back to that, that's just an example of some of the good decisions this entire board's made throughout the years. Whereas that didn't work out, you see what's in place now just because of the decision we made today, Wiregrass Ranch Sports Complex, or campus of Pasco County, which is obviously doing extraordinary things. So that's just an example from the first day, the right decision was made to bring us to where we are today. What else? We hired a new county administrator, obviously, which was a great accomplishment. The first one that had been hired in quite some time. And numerous votes that are going to change this community for the better and this county for the better for a long, long time to come. We campaigned together for a long time. We were on the campaign trail for 2 years before that. Got to know each other very well, and I will tell you, you will be missed. We will miss you. I don't want to take Commissioner Mariano's thunder away because I know what he's probably going to say, so I'm not going to say it now. No, but I have a feeling he's going to say. But I will say it. But again, this is an amazing board. This has been an amazing board to work with. It's been almost my only board. We've had obviously Commissioner Oakley came in for Commissioner Schrader, but we've all been together practically all of us for those 6 years. So. Again, we know you're going to do great things as a property appraiser, and I know your family's proud of you as well as we are. So thank you again for your service.
Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Mariano?
Mike, I want to say you've been a high-impact commissioner, and I think when the two Mikes came on board, it brought a great energy of getting things done. Commissioner Oakley, when you came on board, too, was just like another smoothing out of people that wanted to get stuff done and fast. What you have done as far as being such a high-impact person, when we look at small businesses and how the local ones especially weren't being really catered to in a sense, what I think your impetus did coming in, we help with the small business now to give them a chance, a little bit of a leg up from everyone else around it. That radiates amongst this whole community coming together, and I think you see it. I think we all see it all the way out there. The stormwater projects that we had started on, and we had to first get it in place to go study it all. Once we get the studying done, though, we didn't stop there. Now we get projects going forward that again, with you on there, you help push those things through. Your experiences, I call you captain many times with dredging, knowing how important that is for the waterways for people here. That project's going on, and for years it's been talked about, and now for the past 4, it's got legs, and it's coming forward to some great things coming up. Ridge Road Extension, our commission's hung strong, and you're taking the trips to DC with us was phenomenal. Projects like Starkey Park and Sun West, kind of creative to find another way to get them funded through. I've taken a big step forward. You'll work with elderly nutrition to jump in and actually, how much money have you raised to take seniors off that wait list to bring it forward with the whole committee with Rick Beckish and company? I mean, phenomenal what you've done to see it. You work with the veterans. They needed someone to step into the veterans, and you jumped on that role and did a phenomenal job with our veterans. And I'm going to say the FGUA, which is a water problem when I first started 16 years ago, was something we had to work on. We couldn't quite get to where we wanted to go, but we started with the FGUA, and now we've not only taken the Jasmine Lakes, Palm Terrace, Zephyr Shores, Lindrix up after that, and those people are seeing rates down, cut in half. So I just want to say it's been a great pleasure working with you. I mean, knowing your dad for so many years, a high-impact commissioner as well, to have you come into his steps, and what you've done in 6 years has been phenomenal. And I think the people recognize that you would make a great property appraiser, and they supported you, so it never even got to ballot. But I wish you all the great success. And I do look forward to be able to talk with you more, because I know you and I, we get a lot of phone calls, and sometimes my district, your district, it doesn't matter. We just want to get stuff done. So now I'll be able to talk to you more as you get more information. You'll be able to talk to all of us more too. So as much as you're just going right next door, I think we'll be able to communicate better and still better serve. And I congratulate you for the great work you've done.
Thank you.
Wish you all the
And I apologize, thank you. I didn't mean to go by Mr. Steinsteiner, but you made a good point about property appraiser, talking more. Just remember, next year, we're in charge of your budget, so. So be nice. Be nice. Just kidding. All right, with that, Mr. Steinsteiner, I apologize.
Commissioner, it's been a pleasure working with you, from a new elected official to where you are now 6 years later. I appreciate your support of the county attorney's office and my people, and I wish you the best as property appraiser. And if we can do anything for you, we'll be happy to.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Mr. Biles? Is that a fax machine on your phone, Ralph? What?
He was sending me my comments.
You don't have to turn it
Oh,
on.
Commissioner, I just, it's been, I think, 3.5 years since I stepped into this role, coming new to the county, and I appreciate, the time you took to explain, how District 4, how things work, what's going on, and where your issues are, and your touch points, and appreciate that. And also just, from the 2,700 Pasco County employees, thank you for your support of the employees, because that's been something that's, probably my top priority here is make sure we take care of our employees and that they know that they are well thought of and have the tools, resources, and ability to do their job. And you've been a very, strong supporter of that through the 3.5 years I've been here. So, more than just me, on the behalf of the 2,700 employees, thank you for the support that you've given us so that they can go out and do the jobs that they do, improving lives in the community as a result of the direction of the board. So I thank you for that.
And if any other team, I know.
You got about 120 days before I start asking you about ad valorem rates
Oh,
next
yes.
year. So about 120 days.
Yep, great. Thank you. If anybody else had any comments, Kathy, you have anything you'd like to say to your boss? Or you want to wait until we congregate a little while later?
Every day is a gift working for you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, again,
Could I get a copy of that?
yeah, that's good. Okay, well, great. Well, again, Commissioner Wells, we wish you all the best. If you have anything you'd like to say to us, make sure you're nice what you say to us now, because we still, again, like we said, we would take care of your budget in the future, so.
Well, I wasn't, thank you, Chairman. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I don't like surprises. I'm going to try not to get emotional, It's amazing what we've done in 6 years together. I mean, from a county that was behind on a lot of things, in my opinion, infrastructure, flooding. I mean, the things we've done together, from, public safety, supporting the sheriff, it's unbelievable what we've got done in 6 years together, in 4 years, Commissioner Oakley, with you being here. So it's an honor to serve with each one of you. It's an honor to call each one of you a friend. Kathy, I don't know what I'd do without her. I mean, she gets it done. I mean, it's a lot of people thank me, but it's really her. So I just want to thank her and just the team. Dan, you said it, but it's our team. We have an unbelievable team. The other day I had an opportunity to stop and talk to 5 or 6 guys and a young lady that were out working in the field, and I'm just honored to be part of the team. I mean, that's to always fight for our team is what it's about, and I'll do the same as property appraiser. Again, I'm not going very far. I'm going to do everything I can to help. You're still going to see me, and again, you'll probably see me more. So it's a sad day, but it's an exciting day. I can't wait to start over there. But I can't thank all of you enough, and it really is. It's an honor to serve. So I don't want to ramble, but but thanks to the 2,700 employees that work there. What's off every single day, and we all appreciate you. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wells. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and recess. We can Okay. We good? We off? Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to reset. Need to bring Commissioner Wells over here.
Figures the day I wear jeans, I'm gonna have to tuck my shirt.
You
Hang
can,
on, let me tuck my
I was
shirt.
gonna do a picture with my mask, we'll wait and let you maybe do that with your jacket.